Hello everyone and welcome to the class of economics. So students, in the previous video we have already started chapter 2nd, that is consumer equilibrium, in which we have finished consumer equilibrium in case of single commodity, and today in this video, this is fourth video where we will try to finish this topic, that is consumer equilibrium in case of two commodities or more than two commodities. So when we say consumer equilibrium, it is a state or it is a condition of balance when a consumer, whenever he consumes one commodity or two commodity, the case which we will do today. So in case of two or more than two commodities, he tries to satisfy or he tries to maximize his satisfaction with the combination of two goods. Okay, that means whatever income he has, he try to spend that particular part of income in such a way on two goods when he try to maximize his satisfaction, and he tries to spend all the units of money which he has. The law of equi-marginal utility is based on law of diminishing marginal utility. That means this particular case of consumer equilibrium in case of two commodities is actually based on equi-marginal, law of equi-marginal utility, which is again based on law of diminishing marginal utility. If you could remember, we have completed this topic, that is law of diminishing marginal utility, in the previous videos, where we have learned that the marginal utility or the satisfaction when a consumer consumes a commodity, it is going on diminishing only, then only this law will be applicable. Same thing will apply here also, that in case of two commodities, when a consumer tries to consume these two commodities or tries to spend his part of income on the combination of two goods, he tried to maximize his satisfaction, and the satisfaction will goes on diminishing only. So the law states a consumer gets maximum satisfaction when ratios of marginal utility of two commodities and their respective prices. That means we need to consider the utility along with the prices are equal, and marginal utility falls as consumption increases. Now this is the important conditions which needs to be there, that the marginal utility which a consumer gets or satisfaction which he gets or derives from two commodity must be decreasing or diminishing. And when we are considering this both aspect with the marginal utility of two commodities with the prices, let us understand the situation when a consumer buys two commodities. That means it's an example, if a consumer is buying two commodities, say X and Y, to attain his equilibrium, that is he tries to balance his satisfaction with the combination of two goods or purchasing of two commodities, it can be X and Y. So let us assume that, so he allocate his money income, that means he spend his money income between the two goods, that means on both the goods. It means there are two conditions necessary to attain the equilibrium in case of two commodities. So here we require two conditions which must be there in case of when a consumer wants to attain his equilibrium. Because if we see practically, any consumer, any human being cannot satisfy his needs or cannot satisfy his utility with only one commodity. He is always making good combination of two or more than two goods to satisfy himself. So two conditions which are required for this particular law is the ratio of marginal utility to price. That means now here we are making a combination of marginal utility along with the price of that commodity, both the commodity. So the ratio of marginal utility to price is same in case of both the goods. We know that a consumer in consumption of a single commodity, the case which we did in the previous video, that when a consumer wants to attain his equilibrium in case of single commodity, say X is at equilibrium or he is on equilibrium when marginal utility of X commodity divided by price of X commodity is equal to marginal utility of money. Okay, so it can be many number of the commodity which he wanted to consume, but along with that, if he combine this with the prices or if he compare this with the prices, his utility or his equilibrium must be maintained properly. Similarly, a consumer consuming another commodity, any consumer who is consuming another commodity, that means it is the case of two commodities, say Y along with X, will be at equilibrium when marginal utility of Y divided by price of Y is equal to marginal utility. Okay, so that means here we wanted to see that if both these equations if we are going to combine, what we get is marginal utility of x divided by price of x is equal to marginal utility of y divided by price of y is equal to marginal utility of the combination or money of both the goods. That means whatever part of income which he used to spend on two goods, say x and y, the utility which he gains from both the goods in comparison to price must be same. Now let us explain, I am going to explain it with the example is marginal utility fall as consumption. Now this is second condition, that marginal utility falls as consumption increases. That means as a consumer tries to consume one or more than one commodity, the utility which he gets from one good or from both the goods must be diminishing or decreasing. Thus, and why? Because law of diminishing marginal utility again applies here. The second condition needed to attain consumer's equilibrium, that marginal utility of a commodity must fall as more of it is consumed. That means if he is consuming more of one commodity, the utility or satisfaction which he gets from that commodity must be diminishing. Then only he will skip to the second commodity, that is y. If marginal utility does not fall, that means in case the utility which he gains from the commodity x, if it is not falling, okay, then consumption increases and the consumer will end up buying only one good. That means then the consumer will end up in only buying one good. But this particular approach is unrealistic. It is not practical in nature. Why? Because any consumer, while satisfying his needs or maximizing his utility, he tries to make a combination of one, not one good, it is combination of more than one goods always. So he will never reach to the equilibrium position if he is in the case of single commodity. So we need to have two commodities, that is consumer equilibrium can be attained in case of two or more than two commodities, then only he can reach to equilibrium position. Finally, it can be concluded that a consumer in consumption of two commodities, the case which we are studying, that a consumer while consuming two commodities will be at equilibrium when he spend his limited income, whatever income which he has spent, he will use that whole income or spend that whole income in such a way that the ratios of marginal utilities which he derives from two commodities and their respective prices are equal, and marginal utility fall as he increases the consumption. So these two conditions must be there in case of consumer equilibrium or in case when a consumer tries to attain his equilibrium in case of two commodities. First thing, that the utility which he gains from two commodities along with prices must be same, and second, the utility of two commodities and their respective prices are equal and marginal utility falls as he increases his consumption. Now let us understand this with the help of this tabular presentation. Suppose total money income of a consumer, any consumer is there, if total income of that consumer is rupees 5, which he wishes of rupees 20, which he wishes to spend on two commodities x and y. That means, say for example, a consumer is having 20 rupees as his income and he wanted to spend that 20 rupees on two commodities, that is x and y. Both these commodities are priced at ₹1 rupees per unit. So consumer can buy a maximum of 5 units of x and or 5 units of y. That means prices of both the commodities are 1 rupees each. Okay. So we can see that he has made such certain combinations of, that is units are 5, marginal utility which he gains from x, that is in utils it is 20, 14, 12, 7 and 5, and marginal utility which he gains from y, that is in utils it is 16, 12, 8, 5 and 3. And what we notice is the utility which he gains from x and y commodity, it is diminishing only. Okay, this is the second condition. Now from the table it is clear that consumer will spend the first rupee on commodity x, that means the first rupee which he consumed or which he used in consuming the commodity x, which will provide him utility of 20 utils. The second rupee will be spent on y and he gets utility of 16 utils, okay, second rupee. To reach the equilibrium, that means as he is consuming more and more of x and more of y, To reach the equilibrium, consumer should purchase that combination of the both the goods when the marginal utility of last rupee spent on each commodity is same. That means the last rupee which he used to spend on each commodity, say X and Y, must be same, or it happens in two cases, here on third unit, here on second unit. Then again it comes on fifth unit and here on fourth unit. So what we see is the prices of the goods in comparison to that, whatever amount of income which he spends on both the commodities, one condition comes when the last rupee which he spent or last part of his unit of income which he spent on both the commodities, the utility which he derives must be same, and the marginal utility falls as consumption increases. As you can see that this condition is also fulfilled here, the utility goes on diminishing or decreasing in both the cases. Now moving to ordinal utility. Okay, we did cardinal utility also. Cardinal utility means when you are maximizing or when you are calculating your utility or satisfaction in terms of cardinal numbers, say 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Now there is one other approach of ordinal utility approach, or indifference curve we can call it, or it is called as Hicksian analysis. Why? Because it was propounded by J.R. Hicks. That means this particular analysis of indifference curve, it is given by or evolved by J.R. Hicks. That is why it is known as Hicksian analysis also. The modern economists disregard the concept of cardinal measurement of utility. That means this particular cardinal measurement of utility was given by the ancient economists, but these modern economists, they have denied the use or application of the cardinal utility. That is why they have come with the approach of ordinal utility. They were of the opinion, that is the modern economists, they were of the opinion that utility is a psychological concept. That means when you tries to derive your utility or satisfaction which you get from consuming any utility, that is a psychological concept. Okay, satisfaction comes from here, that now I am satisfied or I am not satisfied. So it is a psychological concept and it is impossible to measure utility. That means it is actually impossible to measure utility in cardinal numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So according to these modern economists, consumer can give ranks to various combination. That means as per the ordinal utility or as per modern economists, they were of the opinion that rather than giving numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, that is cardinal numbers, what a consumer can do, that he can provide or he can give ranks or preferences to the combination of two or more than two goods. So he can assign some ranks for various combination of goods in order of his preference. That means in order of his priority or preference, and utility can be ranked as high or low, can be assigned as more or less. Now some assumption of this indifference curve analysis, or can we say assumption of this ordinal utility. So money income of the consumer does not change. Now here what we see, that the money income, the conditions which are required or the assumption, what we assume while applying of this ordinal utility or indifference curve analysis. If these assumptions we will not take care, then indifference curve analysis cannot be applied. Okay. So we need to consider that the money income of the consumer should not change. Income of the consumer must be same, and whole income of which is to be spent, and whatever income which a consumer has, he has to spend all the income. He will not save any part of income. He needs to spend all the income on combination of two goods. So on the given constant prices of both the goods, and the prices of the goods, say combination of two goods X and Y, prices of both the goods must be constant. It must not be fluctuating or changing. The consumer spend his income on such a goods which can be substituted for each other. That means a consumer while spending his income on both the goods must be in such a way that he can substitute both the goods. It can be pen or pencil, it can be apple and oranges. Okay. So indifference curve analysis assumes diminishing marginal rate of substitution. One more thing, indifference curve analysis says that it is going with diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Now here substitution means he need to take two combination of goods, and those two combination must be substitute of each other. Like I said, like pen and pencil, or it can be apple and oranges. Both the fruits are same. IC analysis assumes that marginal rate of substitution must be diminishing. Now what is marginal rate of substitution? It refers to rate at which the commodities can be substituted with each other. That means the rate or ratio at which both the commodities can be a substitute for each other, and so that total satisfaction of the consumer remains the same. Say for example, substitute goods can be apple and oranges. Okay. So both the goods must be substitute of each other, and then only a consumer can maximize his satisfaction. Second condition is कि indifference curve is always convex to the origin. It is never concave. It is always convex to the origin point, that is O. Third point is the consumer can rank his preferences on the basis of the satisfaction from each bundle of goods. Now here bundle of goods means can be combination of 2 oranges and 3 apples. That means for maximizing his satisfaction, he needs 3 apples and 2 oranges. Okay, any combination he can have. So whatever bundle of combination which he will raise or which he will have or in preference for both the substitute goods must be giving him maximum satisfaction. The consumer is rational. We say the consumer is always rational. He takes all his decision wisely. So he always tries to maximize his satisfaction. Now I'll try to understand, teach you with this tabular presentation. It is indifference set and indifference curve. Consider a situation when a consumer is spending his given income across goods A and B. That means we will try to consider the combination when a consumer tries to use or tries to spend his part of income, whole income on combination of any 2 goods. Let goods A be apples and good B be oranges. Consider these goods as substitute. Now we need to consider, of course both the fruits are different, but still we need to consider that both are fruits. Okay. So we assume that both the goods are substitute of each other, like in case of good A, that is apple, in case of good B, that is oranges. Now these are the combination, and for combination we have put certain points. It can be in letters or it can be in numbers. So A, B, C, D we have formed. Now these are number of apples and these are number of oranges. Now what we notice here, the first unit of his income, he tries to spend on, first he will consume apple. That means he spent his amount of income on purchasing 1 apple for 10 oranges. Then he purchased 2 apple and 7 oranges, 3 apples and 5 oranges, 4 apples and 4 oranges. What we notice is the last unit of income which is spent on both the goods are substitute, that is 4 of apples and 4 of oranges. Now here we can consider that the amount of satisfaction or the utility which he derives from both the goods are just same. Why? Because the amount of income which he is spending on these purchasing these units is same only. Note the following observations. The observation which we have set from the table is the combination of A, B, C and D are specified with the consumer according to his scale of preferences for the 2 goods. That means those A, B, C, D point are just the name which we have assigned for the scale of preferences. Each combination offers the same level of satisfaction, and what we notice is that each combination, 1 of apple and 10 of oranges, 2 of apple and 7 of oranges, all the combination are giving him equal satisfaction. That means he is satisfied with 10 oranges, his satisfaction with using 10 oranges and his satisfaction of eating or consuming 1 apple is same. Okay, we need to assume this. And when he consumes 2 apple and when he consumes 7 oranges, the satisfaction which he gets from both the fruits are just same. Okay. So each combination offers the same level of satisfaction. That is why we come to the point that combination are exactly same of each combination of apple and oranges. That is why we say A is equal to B, is equal to C and is equal to D. Okay. So as there is no difference among combination, what we see is there is no difference in the combination of all 4 combination of 2 goods. We may say that the consumer is indifferent across these combination. That means we can say that consumer is indifferent. Consumer is totally confused in the combination of 2 goods. 4 bundles of combination he has made, A, B, C and D. Somewhere 1 of apple and 10 of oranges, 2 of apple and 7 of oranges, and so on. So he is confused or he is indifferent across these combinations. Together these combination forms an indifferent set. When we make it together, we see that there is a combination of indifferent set of the consumer, and this is the combination of indifferent set. Here what we notice is on OX axis we are having apples and OY axis we are having oranges. Now this is indifference curve which is convex to the origin. Okay, what we notice, when he has one apple, when he consumed one apple, he was consuming 10 oranges. When he consumed 2 apples, he is actually consuming 7 oranges, and so on. Whatever combination he is made, 3 apples, 5 oranges, 4 apples and 4 oranges. At the last point what we notice, that the combination which he set for apple and oranges, which are substitute, we assume that they are substitute of each other, both the combination are just same, and we derive this particular curve, that is the presentation of indifference curve. And what we notice, it is convex to the origin, what we notice, and this is origin point and this curve is convex to the origin. So thus level of satisfaction of the consumer at point A, B, C or D, the combination which he gets on this particular curve is exactly same in combination of 2 goods. Now monotonic preferences. When we say monotonic, the word monotonic means something which is monotonous, something which is repeated and keep on having. So preferences here means when a person or a consumer is giving some preference or priorities according to his likes or dislikes for certain goods. So monotonic preferences means that a consumer is always a rational consumer, we say. He is very wise while taking all the decisions, how to have his expenses or how to spend his part of income in such a way that he wanted to maximize his satisfaction. So he always prefers more of a commodity as it offers him a higher level of satisfaction. That means when he goes according to his preference level, so he always try to maximize his satisfaction on such kind of goods which give him maximum satisfaction. So monotonic preferences implies or shows that as consumption increases, total utility also increases. That means as a consumer is consuming more and more commodity, marginal utility will be going to diminish, but total utility is always increasing. Now what is indifference map? Indifference map refers to the family of indifference curves that represent consumer preferences. Now it is not family of having brothers and sisters. Now family of indifference curve means there can be lot of indifference curve, there can be many indifference curve. So indifference map refers to the family of various indifference curves that represent consumer preference. So all those curves are representing the preferences of the consumer over all the bundles of the 2 goods. That means on the combination of 2 or more than 2 goods. An indifference curve represents all the combinations. That means these indifference curve or all the indifference curve represent the combination of 2 goods according to the preference of the consumer, and which provides them same level of satisfaction. Now you can see here, this is indifference curve. You can see that various indifference curve are there. I see 1, 2 and 3. So all this indifference curve, commodity X and commodity Y. So we just assume that a consumer is consuming, or while consuming 2 commodities, he can set so many indifference curve, that is combination of 2 goods, and on combination of both the 2 goods, that is 2 goods, what he notices that his satisfaction or level of satisfaction is just same on combination of any 2 goods. Okay. Now features or properties of indifference curve. First is indifference curve are always convex to the origin. In the previous slide we have understood that the indifference curve is always convex to the origin because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Marginal rate of substitution means that rate of substitution of combination of any 2 goods. When a consumer can substitute or can have his combination of 2 goods, and both the goods must be substitute of each other, and both the goods must be giving him equal level of satisfaction, say in case of apple and oranges. So MRS declines, that is marginal rate of substitution must decline continuously because of law of diminishing marginal utility. Second is indifference curve slope downwards. That means we notice that this indifference curve is sloping downwards because as a consumption or as a consumer consumes more of one good, he must consume less of the other good so that his total satisfaction remain same. In the case of apple and oranges, we did that when he was consuming one apple, 10 oranges he consumed. That means if a person is consuming any particular commodity less, then he should consume any second commodity more. So this combination he needs to take care, then only he can increase, or then only his total satisfaction from both the good remain same. Higher indifference curve represents higher level of satisfaction. That means if the indifference curve is higher, then it shows higher level of satisfaction. As represents large bundle of goods, that means it will be going to represent large bundle of goods. That means their combination points can be more, from not A, B, C, D, it can be E, F, G, H, and can have more combination. So if indifference curve is more higher, then you can have it represents large bundle of the goods, and which means more utility because of monotonic preferences. Fourth is indifference curve can never intersect each other. That means each indifference curve can never intersect each other. This is all the condition required, as two indifference curve cannot represent the same level of satisfaction. Two different indifference curve cannot represent same or cannot have same level of satisfaction. That is why indifference curve can never intersect each other. Now moving to next topic, that is budget line. Okay, budget line is a graphical presentation of all possible combination of two goods which can be purchased with the given income and prices of the goods. Budget line, as a general meaning of budget, is whatever consumer has, that is a part of income which he wanted to spend on the particular goods, or one good or more than one goods. So it is a graphical presentation of, when we say budget line, okay, of course this line must be in the diagram. So it's a graphical presentation of all possible combination of two goods, that when a consumer, while consuming two goods, he gets this budget line, which is a graphical presentation which can be purchased with given income and prices of the goods, such that the cost of each of these combination is equal to the money income of the consumer. That is, the expenses which he put on consuming, on purchasing these two goods, must give him equal satisfaction. Let us understand the concept of budget line. Suppose a consumer has an income of rupees 20. That means we assume that a consumer has 20 rupees as his income. He wants to spend his income on two commodities. This 20 rupees he wanted to spend on the combination or purchasing of two goods X and Y, and they are priced at rupees 4 and 2. That means the price of X is 4 rupees while the price of Y is 2 rupees. We assume that, and the consumer has 20 rupees in his hand. Now the consumer has three options. Now according to this price rate, according to the income which is available with the consumer, he can have three combination, or he can have some more combination also. Now what we have is, if a consumer spend his entire income on good X which is of 4 rupees, he can buy 5 units of good X. Why? Because he has 20 rupees in hand, the price of X is 4 rupees. So he can buy 4 into 5 is 20. He can buy, or he can consume all or spend all his 20 rupees income on purchasing 4 units of X, or 5 units of X which is of 4 rupees. So if he spends, second combination or second consideration can be, if he spend his entire income on Y, that means if he wanted to spend all his 20 rupees income on purchasing commodity Y, and price of Y is 2 rupees, then he can buy 10 units, that is 2 rupees of Y, that is the Y for 1 unit of Y is 2 rupees. So he can consume 10 units or purchase 10 units of it, as price of Y is 2 rupees each. Alternatively, he can also buy, or he can do so, some more combination can be there, like 4 units of good X. That means 4 units which is costing 4 rupees. So it will be 16 rupees. And on it, and 2 commodities or 2 units of good Y. That is 2 rupees is the price of Y, and 2 units he is purchasing. So this 4 plus 16 is 20. Okay. So he has actually 20 rupees in his hand, which he wanted to spend all the income on the combination of X and Y. So these three combination he can have, and he can have, likewise he can have some more combination also, and that a consumer can buy with his given income and prices of good X and Y. The possible combination of spending income on two goods can be, these are combination of apples and bananas. Say for example, this X and Y, we made it apple and bananas. So we can have these combination E, F, G, H, I and J. Now what is the combination is apples which is costing 4 rupees, bananas which is costing 2 rupees each. So when he actually spend his 20 rupees income on combination of both the goods, so either he can do so that all 20 rupees he will consume, or he will spend on purchasing 5 units of A, that is 5 into 4 is 20, and 0 combination of banana, that means he is not purchasing bananas. So we can make it as 0 into 2 is 0 only. Okay, so 20 we have. Or he can have second combination, that is F, that is he will purchase 4 units of apple and 2 units of banana. When he purchase 4 units of apple means the price of apple is 4, we assume that, plus 2 units of bananas and the price of banana is 2. So 4 4s are 16 and 2 2s are 4, 16 plus 4 20. So all 20 rupees he spend on combination of 4 units of apple and 2 units of banana. Same way G, here he will have 3 apples, he will purchase 3 apples and 4 bananas. So you can have the 3 apples for costing 4 rupees 12 plus 4 bananas he purchased which his price is 2 rupees. So it is 8. So 12 plus 8 20. Again H combination, you can see that he is spending 2 apples, or he is purchasing 2 apples costing 4 rupees and 6 bananas for costing 2 rupees. So 2 into 4 is 8 plus 6 2s are 12, again 20. So likewise he can have some more combination. At the last what we notice on the first combination, that now he is we can say that his utility is decreased. Okay, now he reached to point of satiety when he don't want to spend any part of his income on purchasing apple, because it was very monotonous for him to purchase this commodity and his satisfaction comes to 0. So he don't want to spend any amount of income on purchasing apple. So here we put 0, but here all the money which he has, he wanted to consume bananas. So he spent all his 20 rupees on purchasing 10 units of banana and the price of banana is 2 rupees. So we can have 0 into 4. Why 0? Why? Because we are not, consumer is not spending any part of income on purchasing apple. So it is 0 into 4 is the price of apple. Okay, plus 10 units he purchased for banana and the price of banana was 2 rupees. 10 into 2 is 20. So this were all the combination of two goods where a consumer wanted to spend his entire income 20 rupees and he can have these combination. Okay. Now this is the budget line. This particular line is a budget line. Now here we wanted to show is OX axis we are having apple, on OY axis we are having bananas, because the combination of two which we have. Now what we notice is we can have so many combination J, I, H, G, F and E. This A and B, it is a budget line. Why? Because here we have combination of apple as well as oranges, and all the combination points we have put the points J, I, H, G, F and E. In this figure, a number of goods X are taken on the X axis, Y on the Y axis. At point E, consumer can buy 5 units of X. Now you can see that at point E, this E, consumer can buy 5 units, that means all the amount of income which is spent on purchasing apple only, by spending his entire income of 20 rupees. The other extreme point is J, that means the other extreme point is J here. So which shows that he spent his entire income 20 rupees only on purchasing banana, but he has not purchased apple for that. So entire income only on good Y, that is banana. Between E and J, now between this E and J you can have several combination, that is I, H, G and F. Now here it is a combination of both the goods, that is apple and oranges. So there are other combination like F, G, H and I. By joining all the combination, when you actually connect or join all the combination of the goods, the line which you get is called as budget line. Okay, we get a straight line AB. We get a straight line AB which is known as the budget line, or we can call it a price line. This is all about today's video, and again in the next video we will meet with some new concepts. Till then, thank you. Goodbye.